If you're over 40 and you feel like menopause has robbed you of your ability to lose body fat. When you were in your 20s, you used to just walk a little bit more, run a little bit more, starve yourself for the week, maybe do a smoothie fast or a juice cleanse, and the weight would just fall right off. And as soon as you entered your 40s, your 50s, those little tricks no longer worked. Or maybe you didn't have a problem and you continue eating the same, you're working out the same, but all of a sudden you're experiencing excess belly fat that just came out of nowhere. When you go to your doctors, your healthcare providers, a lot of them are telling you things like, well, that's just how it is. And no matter what you try, it always seems to work temporarily and you feel stuck. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. And I know these things because my mom has gone through it, my aunts have gone through it. I've also had the pleasure of coaching hundreds of women in this age range that have gone through it as well. And I'm here to just let you know that it is not a hopeless case. You can still drop body fat. You can still lose weight. You can still transform your body if you understand the key principles that govern fat loss. And that is the missing piece for a lot of women. This is the same thing that our client Maria was missing when she came to me feeling extremely frustrated, not knowing who to turn to, and desperate for a solution. Julie was in a similar position as well, where her doctor told her this is just how it should be. She didn't want to accept it because she felt like her doctor didn't do any deeper questioning to figure out what she was currently doing to provide an actual solution. So if you're interested in a way forward, this is the best way that I've found to break it down. First is validating the fact that what you are feeling in your body, it is real. You are going through real physiological changes with your hormones. Through the decline of estrogen and progesterone, it impacts a lot of different things in your body. Nobody can take that away from you. These things are real and they do make the process of fat loss harder. However, they do not change the principles that govern fat loss. So if you want to find a way forward, you need to understand those principles. You also need to understand what changes and what challenges naturally arise through menopause that are going to make it harder for me to adhere to these principles. The main two principles that you need to understand is that 1 pound of body fat, the same body fat that you want to lose, the same belly fat that you want to lose, 1 pound of it is 3,500 calories worth of stored energy. That remains the same. It doesn't change ever. That's the first principle that you need to understand. The second is the law of thermodynamics, which states energy cannot be created, it cannot be broken down, it can only be transferred. This is a law of physics, which means it is as absolute as what goes up must come down. If I throw this up in the air 10 times, it's gonna come back down all 10 times. It's never gonna get thrown up in the air and then just stick. It will come down every single time. So the law of thermodynamics is as absolute as the law of gravity. So if energy can't be created, it cannot be broken down, it can only be transferred, then that means that you can put your body in a state where it is able to utilize the body fat that is stored on you and transfer it outside of your body, aka getting yourself into a calorie deficit. Now, when it comes to the difficulties that naturally arise through menopause, you need to understand the triangle of hormonal health. And the three ends of this triangle, they work in tandem. On one end, you have female sex hormones. On the other end, you have stress hormones. On the other hand, you have blood sugar hormones. Now, although there's not much that you can do to alter the changes that are happening with your female sex hormones, there are things that are within your control to alter your blood sugar hormones and your stress hormones. Blood sugar hormones meaning insulin, stress hormones meaning cortisol. Insulin regulates the way that your body processes sugar, and when you have declines in estrogen, it impacts your insulin sensitivity. So if you are becoming less sensitive to insulin, the outcome of that is more cravings, more crashes in regards to energy, which is the reason why you're feeling fatigued all the time and you're craving all these sweets and high calorie foods, is due to some irregularities with insulin. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone. So when you're going through menopause, as progesterone is declining, which naturally acts as a buffer for cortisol, you no longer have that buffer in place. So your cortisol levels tend to rise a lot quicker and a lot higher when you experience levels of stress. And for professional women specifically who are working in very competitive environments, who have children that they also need to take care of, who have a spouse that they are also in a relationship with, who also have aging parents who now need them more than they did in the past, stress tends to go through the roof. Then you have your female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, which are responsible for fat regulation and how your body stores body fat. So when you're seeing fluctuations with this and you're having declines, your fat storage shifts from around your hips and your waist to being stored as belly fat. The problem that a lot of women have, especially professional women, is that they enter this phase of their life where they're going through this menopause transition without ever having balanced the other two sides of the triangle. So once the female sex hormones start getting out of whack, but you're already living this professional lifestyle where it's highly competitive. You have all these deadlines to do, so your stress hormones are out of whack. Now you're also eating poorly. You're eating a lot of highly processed foods. You're eating foods that are high in carbs and refined carbs that's spiking your blood sugar levels all the time. You're not eating enough protein. You're not eating foods that are high in fiber. Now your blood sugar hormones are all over the place too. And then when you add the third piece into the mix, once you hit 40, it's almost like a Mack truck is hitting you. So all of your hormones are all over the place, and that's why it feels impossible for you to lose weight. These are the things that our clients express to us time and time again when they're entering into the program. So what is the way forward when it comes to balancing your blood sugar and your stress hormones? This is what I call the 7 seamless systems to hormonal harmony. This is what our program is founded on. The first system is going to be nutrition systems. You need to have a set system in place that is going to allow you to eat high protein meals that are also high in fiber that keep you within your calories. That's the game. What this is going to do is help you to stabilize your blood sugar levels and get rid of the cravings that you're experiencing. The second system is training systems. You need to have a training system put in place that allows you to preserve muscle mass because you're naturally going to be losing it throughout this period of time, but also doesn't overstress your body, because training is a form of stress on the body that has you with consistently elevated cortisol levels, which is why a lot of you ladies who like to go to these boot camp classes and do all this high intensity training, I advise against it. Because you end up overstressing your body. Your cortisol levels remain elevated over a long period of time. Your body's producing cortisol. It's also going to be producing insulin. You end up stuck in this cycle of mismanaging these two hormones. So the cravings never go away. The fatigue never goes away. You never end up adhering to a calorie deficit consistently. So what I recommend is transitioning to doing strength training. 2 to 3 times per week is more than enough for you to maintain muscle mass. If not, build some if you've never gone through a phase of building muscle. If you want to do more and you have the room for it, cool. But majority of the professional women that I know, they barely got time to sit and think. So it's better for you to do less and do less more efficiently. So you have to have a training system that works either from the house, that works when you go to the gym, that works when you travel, whether you need to mix the two, whatever is going to work specifically for you. You have to have a system put in place that allows you to train 2 to 3 times per week doing strength training. The third system is going to be movement systems. The game with movement systems is how can you burn a lot of calories consistently without sacrificing recovery? Because if what you're using for your movement system, again, bringing it back to these boot camps and this high intensity stuff, if you want to be running long distances and all these different things when you're overweight trying to drop body fat, it can work, but what ends up happening is you sacrifice recovery. So if you're sacrificing recovery, you end up hitting a wall and you can't do it consistently long term because of fatigue. Your body's naturally going to be fatigued while you're going through this transition in your life. Your body starts to produce less melatonin while you're going through menopause. If you're producing less melatonin, it's going to be harder for you to get to sleep. So if you're already experiencing fatigue, it's hard for you to go to sleep, you're losing muscle mass, you're eating high sugar foods because you're experiencing all of these cravings, and then you go and do all this high intensity training and high intensity workouts on top of that, it is counterproductive, making the situation worse. So as far as movement goes, you need to have systems put in place that allows you to burn a lot of calories on a daily basis that doesn't add additional stress to your body. One of the best things that we recommend is increasing your step count. If you just walk more on a daily basis, you're going to burn so much calories, and it's done in a low impact way that actually helps you to reduce your cortisol levels. Walking is a stress relieving activity. The fourth system is going to be time management systems. Yeah, I said it. You need to get better at managing your time. I know there are a lot of competing obligations. I know work is crazy. I know that the demands are insane. I know your kids need a lot of stuff. Your spouse needs a lot of stuff. Your parents are probably getting older. Maybe they're sick and they need you a lot more as well. But you need to get better at managing your time. A lot of this will mean setting boundaries. A lot of this will mean having conversations around how people in your household can help you. A lot of this means being open to accepting and receiving help. Mastering the art of delegation. There's a lot of services that you can use to outsource mundane day-to-day tasks that's taking up a lot of headspace for you, where you're falling short with prioritizing yourself because of this. If you're better able to manage your time, you're going to be able to hit the gym more consistently, move more consistently, meal prep more consistently. The level of stress and anxiety that you have comes down because you feel like everything is taken care of, and you've even freed up some time in your schedule for you. The fifth system is going to be stress management systems. There's 2 types. There's proactive stress management, there's reactive stress management. Proactive, what are you doing on the front end to put your body in a state of calm? Can you identify your triggers and get ahead of things? Reactive stress is when there are things that you just cannot avoid. Maybe your boss is an asshole. Maybe the nature of your work just calls for so much. Maybe your kids are at an age where they're just nagging you all the time. Some of these things you just cannot avoid. So you have to have systems in place for reactive stress management. Because if you can't manage your stress levels, again, and your cortisol levels are through the roof, that's where the cravings, the emotional eating, the stress eating comes into play. And now we're face down in a whole bag of French fries and fried chicken. Or we got a family-sized bag of chocolates that we're just running through because we can't can't control our emotions and we cannot regulate our stress properly. The sixth, sleep management systems. The quality of your sleep is directly linked to your hunger and appetite hormones, leptin and ghrelin. If you are not prioritizing putting your body in a restful state, meaning having a bedtime routine, having good sleep hygiene, staying off of Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, and up watching Netflix and your favorite shows until 2 o'clock in the morning, taking supplements where it's necessary, magnesium, melatonin, natural things that can help to put your body in a more restful state. You need to develop these systems to help you get better quality rest, because if you don't, and leptin and ghrelin become imbalanced, again, that is going to lead to increased appetite, more cravings, more hunger, more calories. And the final system is accountability systems. Ladies, if you're living this professional lifestyle, you have a lot of responsibilities at work. There are a lot of demands on your time. You have deadlines to hit. You have long commutes with work. You're in high pressure situations that's riding on you. Your family needs you, and you're trying to implement something new. It's going to be extremely difficult to do this without accountability systems. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to manage this by yourself. This is where I highly recommend getting a coach, somebody who is going to hold you accountable to the things that you say that you want for yourself. Because we all know how it goes down when we ask our spouses to hold us accountable or our friends to hold us accountable. So you need to have accountability systems put in place to help you stick to what it is that you said you wanted to initially do, to at least get you to a point where these systems are seamlessly put in place. Everything feels smooth. You have more balance. You're sleeping better. You're in a routine. You feel like yourself again, and you're motivated to do more. Now you're empowered to continue doing this on your own. I'm not saying that you can't get there by yourself. Definitely is possible. But when you get coaching, you speed up the learning curve. You expedite the process. And if you work with a coaching program like what we have in place, where our systems are outlined, where within our systems we have multiple systems that we can plug and play and create a custom system for you specifically, based on 4 years of experience and hundreds of women that we've worked with that are experiencing the same struggles as you, you end up getting to your goals a lot faster. If you are able to master these 7 systems, you will solve your fat loss problems for the rest of your life. There's hope for you, and you can definitely do this, but you need to be willing to accept the truth that we laid out in this video and be committed to the process of mastering those 7 systems. So I hope this video was insightful for you. If you want to further your knowledge around understanding menopause and your hormones and things along those lines, a place that I would recommend you start is by reading a book called The Hormone Cure by Sarah Gottfried. That's what led me down the rabbit hole of wanting to learn more things and taking workshops and taking courses around menopause. Specifically, who she is a medical doctor who didn't like the way that Western medicine was helping women going through this transition. She felt like it was a lot of band-aid solutions. People were being prescribed hormone therapy without really understanding a deeper level of what was going on. And she decided to do her own thing on the side. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from reading that book, and something that she would say over and over and over again, is that it is much easier to balance your hormones than it is to live with them imbalanced. If you're willing to take the time to understand them a little bit better and how your lifestyle habits play the biggest role in conjunction with your nutrition in helping you to get these things balanced, you're now empowered to do something about your situation versus being stuck in a space where you feel hopeless. My hope is that after watching this, you have a bit more clarity around how things work and what you need to focus on to get the outcomes that you want. My mom just turned 62 months ago, and she's down 30 pounds after committing to herself and her health over the past year. If she can do it at age 59 going into 60, I know that anybody can do it. My mom is a nurse practitioner who's been studying for her doctorate, who works extremely long hours. She's got 2 jobs. If she can make a decision at 59 to reclaim her health and lose 30 pounds and counting, be in a spot now where she's living life. We just went on a trip to Europe for 10 days for her 60th. She's going to concerts and sending me videos. She's going to visit her friends and traveling around the country and sending me pictures of her wearing all of her favorite clothes again because she can finally fit into what's been just sitting in her wardrobe. If my mom can accomplish that at 59, going on 60, I know that it's something that you can accomplish as well. So I want you to comment down below, based on everything we've covered in this video and the 7 systems that'll get you to a space of hormonal harmony where you can actually adhere to a calorie deficit long term. Let me know which one of those 7 systems. If it's multiple, then it's multiple. Let me know down in the comment section which one you feel like you struggle with the most.